Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Joining me, as always, is my co-host from the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, Triple T, as he goes by now, Trav. What is good, Trav? How you doing, man?
That messed me up, man. I thought for sure, I didn't know where he got the triple T from. I just rolled with it.
Hey, it stands for terrific, terrible Trav.
Okay,
that's the name.
Right.
I like it, man. As you guys see, D, he's not here with us. He's still out there saving the world, but
Right.
who knows? He might arrive like Goku did on Namek when Vegeta and Gohan and Krillin,
or even on Earth. You know, Goku showed up a little too late, but he showed up still.
So joining us today, we got a special guest. You know, Trav. Trav has been on a roll. He's been sliding in DMs, and he has been getting people to come up here and join us on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And that is ADR editor Austin Tyler. Austin, how are you doing today, man?
We're doing real good, man. Chilling, loving the vibe y'all are putting out, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey,
we appreciate it.
We appreciate it. We love to have good times up here. And you know, before we get into the interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you are always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And if D was here, he would say like, follow, subscribe. Podcast link down below in the description. Trav, what is your tip of the day?
Hey, my tip of the day, man, is, you know, if somebody needs saving, be like D, do some saving.
Hey, I like that. So, Austin, first question that we asked all of our guests up here on, I was about to say, who's that cosplayer? That's another thing. But on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. So tell everybody who you are.
All right, so kind of how I got into audio. I went to Full Sail University in Orlando, grew up in Florida.
Hey, same here.
Okay, Full Sail. What year? Recording arts?
2017.
27. Okay, I graduated in 2010, so a little bit in front of you. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, always good to see another alumni, man. They pop up everywhere, dude.
You never know.
Yeah, no, they do all that marketing, man. And I saw the commercial and it looked dope. And I went toward the campus, and you know, they just had all the gear that you could ever imagine. And you know, so I took the recording arts program up there. Then did the internship at the school on their dub stage, like mixing the student films and cutting ADR and sound effects and all that. And while I was interning at the school, I just met a lot of alumni, you know, who are already in the industry, and ended up getting an internship set up out in LA while I was still in Orlando at a movie studio. Sonic Magic, it's not around anymore, but went out there, and you know, it was crazy back then because they have you run around the city with hard drives and stuff, you know, when you're intern. It's not like now where there's WeTransfer everything, you know, like I was WeTransferring all over the city. So that's kind of how I got to know LA. And just went out there, and it's a long, hard road to get into the audio industry, man. Like, you gotta really stick to it. Like, I didn't get my first like paying audio gig until like 2014. So it took about 4 years to really, like, you know, kind of get going in there. But you know, it's been an experience. You know, I got on at Agent Learning over there, which is like an e-learning company, and started doing all their recording sessions, not all of them, but a good portion of them. So that's where I got to meet a lot of the voiceover people that I, you know, kind of, you know, work with all the time nowadays and hook you up. And kind of stepped into the voice directing role after a couple years there, and, you know, doing casting and recording and handling all that stuff. And eventually they downsized our team, so I switched to like a freelance audio engineer role, and that's kind of where I've been working on a lot of this anime stuff lately, thanks to Stephanie Shea hooking me up over at NYAB Post. Love that studio. And you know, just working at it, man.
So first question that I want to ask you, I have two questions, but I want to ask this one first. You said, you know, before you had started getting your gigs and whatnot, like the process was hard. And we interview a lot of voice actors and actors up here. And, you know, we hear the stories of, you know, they have to do commercials or maybe even do like some phone voiceover work for telephones and whatnot. Like, what is the difference between that and, like, you know, getting into audio? Like, what makes it so much harder to try and get a gig there?
You know, it's just there's a lot of competition. You know, there's so many people that are trying to get into the industry, and you know, I came out in 2010, so it was kind of like right after 2008 when the economy was kind of suffering.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was many projects and people doing their own projects and that kind of thing. and there's always like the studio that wants you to like work for free, you know. It's like I interned for 2 months full-time, 40-50 hours a week for free. It's like eventually you're like, well, I'm gonna have to go wait some tables to kind of make up for this, you know. It's just a grind out in LA, man. A lot of competition, and and there's so many like little groups and societies and guilds and that kind of thing. You can go and network at. And I even got my first audio gig. It was like a Full Sail alumni mixer, where I went to the mixer and met somebody who mentioned that Age of Learning was hiring an audio engineer, and they gave me a reference, and then I got the job. So it's just you just got to go and try to meet people and get out there, man.
Yeah,
it's even harder nowadays with everybody going remote and protocols, and people don't want to be sick. It's hard.
Yeah, to piggyback off of something that you had said, where it's just like people want you to work for free and whatnot. I mean, like that's the same thing in the wrestling business. I'm a professional wrestler, and there's a lot of promotions where it's like they'll want you to drive 8 to 20 hours to come and wrestle for free, and then they'll, like we say in the wrestling business, they'll give you a hot dog and a handshake, say thanks for coming. We'll be in touch. And it's just like when you're first starting out in the business, it's just like you want to take those opportunities because it's just like you're young, nobody really knows who you are and whatnot, and you have to kind of establish yourself. But then it's like after a while, it's like you have to eventually know your worth and like, okay, I know what I can do. And hopefully you meet the right people. You always stay humble, like you were saying, networking with people, and then you get those golden opportunities where it's just like, okay, this is my chance and I got to make something out of it, because if not, then I'm going to still be where I'm at. Oh my God, I'm recording. Thank you. Jesus.
I might have that too at some point.
Usually I'm here at the house by myself, but I have family visiting in town, and I forget to lock the door. So that was Grandma. Hi, Grandma.
Hey, Grandma, Granny.
But like I was just saying, it's just like, you got to take those opportunities and just roll with them. It's like sink or swim,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even though on our podcast we don't cover music on here, it just kind of is what it is. That's not really the realm of things that we do. But I come from the music background of Full Sail. That's where I went and got my degree in, is sound recording and music engineering. And I can just see, man, there's so many different, like there's a lot of similarities between what you guys do over there in film and TV and radio, and then over here when it comes to like making music, there's like so many differences. So it's not like, it's hard to transition from one to the other. I don't know if you've ever worked in the music field at all, as far as mixing actual records, more so than just voiceover stuff, or...
Yeah, no, I've never really been musically inclined, I guess you could say. So I've been all on like the audio post, voiceover side. No, big respect, man. Like music is so complicated and there's so much to put into it. Like if I get a music session in Pro Tools, like I'm a little lost, but like I can, I can do a whole movie, in a session. So it is a lot very different, but I big respect for the music side for sure.
I was gonna say that's how I feel, and I don't want to nerd out too much, and all this stuff. But when I get a session with video in it, and for my Pro Tools rack, I'm like, all right, bro, that's a whole separate thing. I'm not used to having that, and I'm an organizer, so I got my drums grouped as one color, my guitars grouped as another color, my synths, my lead vocals, my background vocals. I like my shit color coded and organized. So when I get sent stuff like that and it's confusing, I'm like, yeah, it's a whole different realm.
Yeah, whole different realm. I'm working on a time code instead of bars and beats.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that time code. I work in BPMs. That's what I work in.
I wish I knew what you guys were talking about. I feel like the guy is just sitting in the room, and I'm just like, yeah.
Pro Tools.
Right. Yeah, so are you doing a lot of like actual producing? So you're coming in there and it's you working one-on-one with the voice actor?
In the past, when I was at Age of Learning, I was the voiceover director and the engineer. Like it would just be like me and the actor, for 2 hours. A lot of times they have the engineer and the voiceover director, but I just kind of slid into the same role since I already knew all the actors from recording them so many times, and I could just do it all. So I did that for about 5 years over there. I've been doing a little bit of voice directing and recording for video games lately, trying to get back into that. But for the anime side, I've just been doing the recording and editing, which it's fun, man. Like you get all these. I mean, you've had the actors come in here. They're great people, man. They're so fun to work with, and it's just a blessing to be able to work on these projects and just have a good time, as a living. And the voice actors always bring great energy, and there's the coolest crowd, man. It's a great community for sure.
Yeah, everybody's very positive and supportive of each other, and they want to see each other grow. And there's so many animes and cartoons out there now compared to when we were younger, and there's so many digital platforms where you can watch this stuff at. So it's just so much content out there for people to get work. And at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to make money and make new friends and whatnot. So staying on the voiceover side of things, I wanted to ask you, when it comes to anime and when it comes to like live action movies and whatnot, what is the difference? Is it harder or easier to do the editing for one?
I only did one live action movie where I spotted and edited the ADR at that studio I was interning at way back in the day. And that's tricky because, it's just like an actual mouth as opposed to like a cartoon mouth, you just gotta match the flaps. But yeah, I mean, you get kind of used to it. Like they kind of just threw me into the recording like straight away at NYAV. I just kind of like, I've done a little dubbing, but it was on a whole different scale before. And there's a little bit of a learning curve with the lingo and just getting used to the flow of things. But once you get going and you have a good director and a good adaptation, like it's just like the best feeling when like you see this like long line and you're like, oh man, this is a long line, I don't know if it's gonna match the flaps. And then like they just hit the little pauses at the exact right times and it just fits just miraculously. Like it's just like oh yeah, that's the best.
Awesome. That's awesome.
It gets tricky.
So that leads me to ask you two questions. One being, when you have situations like that, are y'all doing any sort of stretching with the vocals or no?
No, we definitely, you can pinch it or stretch it if it's just, just a hair. You always, but that on my end, I have to watch out, because they can mess up the audio if you do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But sometimes you watch it and you're like, oh, there's an extra flap on the end, and so the director's got to like rewrite the line real quick. We've worked with a lot of really cool people at NYAV. Fran is awesome over there. Laura Stahl, she's great to work with.
Yeah.
Stephanie Shea, of course. And let's see, Kyle on Vampire in the Garden. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was about to bring up Vampire in the Garden as the next thing because, one of our good friends and voiceover actor, Connor Fogarty, he was on Vampire in the Garden. We've interviewed him up here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. You can either listen to the episode on podcast or you can watch the video up here on YouTube. And that was one of the latest projects that you've done, and we really enjoyed it. So how was it working on that show?
It was great. The cast was amazing. Like Xanthi, Larissa, Connor. Like Connor is just a great dude. Like anytime like, oh yeah, Connor session is gonna be fun. It was great. And like Xanthi, she did the main part. We would just be having like a conversation, like just joking, like, oh, what you doing today? Da da da. The next thing you know, like the line's like, okay, now you need to cry and scream, and she just nail it. Like and Larissa is always great to work with. I've been doing a lot of video game work with her. She's just a wonderful person, super nice. And then I really liked the whole show too, like just how it all came together. And it was, I recorded probably 90% of it and edited the entire season. So it is like my baby, it was my first like Netflix project that like, I did all this mostly,
Yeah.
I mean, not all of it, but I mean, the actors did the most of the work, but the
technical
side.
But what y'all do is so crucial. I mean, being a mix engineer in music, I mean, hey, anybody that works in that industry will tell you we're not saying me personally, but we're the guys that make the artist sound good. I mean, it just
Do
is
it every
what
Tuesday,
is.
Trav.
Do it every Tuesday. That's right. So let me ask you, where does your job end? You know, as far as you putting it together, like what part are you seeing when they bring in the score? Are you not privy to the score, or do you get the score and you're moving it in? What's all involved in that?
So by the time we get it for the dub, like it's already been mixed, like but with the original vocals in there. So when you're recording, you'll watch the line in Japanese, and it'll have the music and everything in there, and then you record, after they get an idea of the timing and everything. And for me, I just record and edit the VO, and then get the whole session ready and hand it over to the mixer, who then add effects on vocals and do the levels with the music and sound effects, all that good stuff.
So you're not doing any sort of delays and reverbs or anything in your session?
Yeah, not my side. That
Gotcha.
We're handing off to the mixer for that. Which
okay.
It's mixing's like a whole other thing, man. I just like working in the voiceover, man. It's a little more fun for me, a little less tedious, I guess.
So
Well,
go ahead, Trav.
Nah, yeah, Banks. I just gotta ask this one question real quick. So, when you're coming in to work on this new project, like for me, when I'm coming into a new recording session, I already got my rig set up specifically for that kind of artist. What kind of music they do, what kind of sends I'm gonna need in my session. So when you get that from them, what do you have before you even start recording? Is it already time coded for you, or do you have to set up the time code?
Yeah, so you got to build the Pro Tools session. In the video, I have the time code on there. Then you just build it, and then for every line, you got to add like beeps. So like doot doot doot.
So you're adding the beeps.
Yeah. So you got to build it and then add all that. That takes a little bit. I usually just put on some music and so you're copy and pasting beeps all over a Pro Tools session. And then they're all remote at NYAV. Like almost all the talent is coming in from their home rigs, and they have they know how to build them. Like they sound good. And we use this software called Connection Open to bring it into Pro Tools.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you were using that or Source Connect or.
Yeah. Michael over at NYAV likes Connection Open, and it's great. It's lossless audio, and as long as you got a good connection, it's works really well.
Yeah.
And so you bring the talent in on that. The director a lot of times will be on Skype, so then you got to use another plugin, Source Nexus, to route that audio back and forth so everybody can hear each other. And so then you just go from there.
That's why I'm laughing. Banks wasn't privy to this, but when you asked me about using Nexus and routing it into the Pro Tools session, I was like, nah, it's not that deep over here. You know what I mean? Not going that ham, but I know what that's like, having to do that sort of stuff, especially when you got a musician that's not, let's say they got to lay down something for you, but they're not in your area because they're out on tour or something. You got to make these things kind of happen like that. They'll find a studio to go into, and you set it up.
Yep.
So something I wanted to piggyback off of was something that you had said earlier about how, because of the way that the world is now and a lot more people are doing stuff from home instead of coming into studios, like how did you transition into that from because you said it was harder to do everything because everything's remotely. Like how did you get better at it? Well, how was it at first, and then like what is the difference now since we've been in this pandemic for a few years now?
So I kind of had to figure out my own workflow for that at Age of Learning when I was still there. And I was using Source Connect now, which is it's a free like browser plugin you can use to record with. And like using Nexus to record like that. And I had to help several, VO actors, kind of get their home rigs together, tell them what equipment they needed, tell them, you need to put up some blankets, cover anything that's, slick.
Yeah.
So I helped, I kind of had to help several, but then there was others that, they were just already ready, like they were already been recording at home for a long time. It was a process for sure. And then, once I left Age of Learning, I just hit up Stephanie Shea, who I used to cast into things at Age of Learning. I was like, y'all got any work? Just let me know. And then they already had like their full like remote setup. She's so like well known in the industry and awesome to work with. So, we just find the artists who got the good home rigs and help them if they need it, and get them to download Connection Open, and then we rock with it
from there. So, I want to pass the ball to Trav, because one of the things that he always says, like whenever we interview a voice actor that has, worked with you guys at NYAV Post, Trav always says, what, Trav?
They're the best dubbing company out right now.
Always says that. So yeah, Trav, I pass the ball to you for the next question.
It's true. And that's what you've been preaching this whole time here. It starts at the top with Stephanie and Michael, and it trickles all the way down to, they just know who to put in place, from the ADR guy to the mixer guy to who they're casting. They know who to put in place at all times. I've never seen anything come from them that was subpar. It's always top notch.
Yeah. No, there's another project that's going to be coming out sometime. I don't even know, but I just got to meet so many cool people, so many cool voiceover actors. And I was just thankful for the opportunity that they brought me over. And they're awesome people, and the dubs come out great. It's a good team.
Random question. So do you got to sign NDAs too as a behind the scenes guy?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So,
we don't got that in music. We ain't got to sign no NDAs.
So what have been some of your favorite projects that have come out from NYAV Post?
So Kotaro Lives Alone. I don't know if you guys watched that one, but that's a great show. I had a great time working with that. Jeremy and Jennifer Losi, voice directed, and Jeremy played the main part. It was just such a cool story, man, and they were so great to work with. And then that was my first like Netflix movie or show that I worked on, so that was like a big thing for me. And then Vampire in the Garden again was going to be my number 2 there, because I recorded almost the entire thing and edited the whole thing, so you just see that go out was really cool. And for some reason, like, they didn't put the sound team credits on Kotaro, but they put them on Vampire in the Garden, so I got to see my name on there. So
hey, that's always awesome feeling, man, because it's just like you work on a project, and
absolutely.
You want to see your name in the credits, and I totally understand that, because it's like you don't want to feel like you're getting snubbed. Just it's kind of like it's a dumb reference. It's a dumb reference, but just like in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, I'll always remember at the end of the movie where they shot the fireworks and it said "Thank you, Power Rangers," and Bulk and Skull was just like, "Thank you, Power Rangers." It said, "Thank you, Bulk and Skull." We helped just as much. I totally understand that. So now the next question that I have for you, because you work with like so many voice actors and whatnot, have you ever thought about lending your voice to something, or an animated cartoon? Video game?
Yeah, I did a little bit when I was Age of Learning. Actually, if you go on the app ABC Mouse, if you got young kids,
my kids had ABC Mouse when they were super young. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's that, and the app Adventure Academy. Like, I did like the casting and directing for like 5 years and all that kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
But there's a game called Farm Bridge Numbers. And my son and I narrate the game together. Like, he did the kid
that's
bird,
awesome.
and I did the farmer. Put on I'm from Florida, so I could put on a little southern drawl on there.
How old was he at the time?
8, I guess.
Okay, so he was still a kid doing.
Yeah,
8, 9. I think he was 9. Yeah, it was like 2 years ago. But so that was always something I always thought it was pretty cool. So we worked on a game together, and I've done a couple of just random things over there. But I've heard I have good texture in my voice. But after being around all these like amazing actors, I think I'm a little like, okay, you guys really know how to do this.
I think you got a great voice, and obviously you're not using an extravagant setup right now. But I can just tell, and
Trav got the ear.
If you were recording, I think it'd come out good. That's one thing we always tell Connor. is, man, he don't look like his voice. It's so
He has
powerful.
range. He
Yeah,
has
yeah.
he
He was
range.
perfect for Kubo too, man. He was
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I told him because like when I first heard him talking, I thought it was Matthew Mercer at first, and I was just like, oh no, that's Connor. You know, he definitely has range, man.
But I definitely want to get this in before we end up wrapping it up. So, we already talked about some of the 2 projects that you did at NYV Post so far. But now, coming out on my birthday, you got the Deer King coming out.
Yep.
Finally, after a little over a year, it came out over there in Japan, finally giving it over here to the States. So how long ago did you work on that, and how excited are you to be? This is your first project in an actual nationwide release, right?
Yeah. I was going to get to that. It's coming out in 16 days or whatever.
Nice.
So yeah, no, really excited. Worked on that last year. Kind of hopped on the end there as I think they had done a lot of it already before I hopped on there. But I don't know. I think I might be on the credits. I put my name in there, so that'd be really cool. If I'm going to go see it in theaters, see if I pop up.
I'll look for it.
I know. Yeah, no, they're just so thankful to be able to be part of the project, and it's just something that I would do as a hobby, but I can kind of make a career out of it, working on all these great people. So very excited. Thanks for bringing it up, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Trav.
I was going to just say my final question real quick before I hand it over to you, Banks, is so what's next for you? Is this kind of your lane for right now? Do you have anything else that you kind of want to get into else, or what are you thinking right now?
Yeah, no, really just all things voiceover is what I really enjoy doing. So, I started an LLC doing the freelance thing. We've been getting some gigs doing voice directing on some video games, mobile stuff. And, just trying to find some more studios and cool projects to work on with cool people. I think, this has kind of been the big journey, being in the freelance world is a whole nother thing. But it's been great, and I'm just gonna keep trying to grow the business and meet new studios that need voiceover work and hop in there where I can.
Nice. So, question for you: when you're not doing editing and mixing music and voices and all that stuff, what are some of your hobbies that you're into? What do you like to do?
Yeah, well, I got 2 boys. They're 7 and 11, so they keep me busy. We walk the dog every day and take them to trampoline parks, and I cook a lot, so I try to cook healthy dinners and do all that kind of stuff. I'm up in Boise, Idaho, and so we got some space out here. I've been doing some gardening. I got my rose bushes and all that kind of stuff going on.
That's crazy. I never would have thought you were all the way in Idaho.
Yeah. No, I came up here March 2020. And so it's all remote work for me. There's a couple of little studios out here, but as far as big productions, I'm always got to do the remote route. So we got fiber getting put in out here, so we get set up on that, which is crazy because a lot of the voice actors I know in Burbank, they can't get fiber, at their place.
Yeah, we don't have it out here, or at least I don't know if Banks has it in Norfolk, but out here in Chesapeake, I don't have fiber optics neither. It's just.
I'm out here in Idaho and I'm getting it set up. So I'm all right, I'll take it.
So what are some of your favorite meals that you like to cook?
Oh man, I grilling salmon, or I used to be a kitchen manager in Outback Steakhouse, so I like grilling steaks and veggie skewers and all.
I used to work in the kitchen myself, so I understand.
Okay.
I'm somewhat of a chef myself.
Oh, I wasn't a chef. I was the dishwasher, and
I'm somewhat of a washer myself.
Yeah, but when D, because we worked together at a place, and he ended up becoming a cook at what was it, Uno's. So yeah, no.
The pizza place.
Yeah, the Chicago.
I think it's closed down now, ain't it?
No. They still got some open.
Oh, they still open?
I want to say there was one in Pasadena when I lived out there.
They got some good pizza. I mean, if you want good, authentic deep dish pizza, you gotta go to Chicago. But Uno's, they get the job done if it's what you need.
What you get.
Get the job done.
So if D was here, D has his final questions that he loves to ask all of our guests. It's 2 questions. Trav, I'll ask the first one and then you can ask the second one. The first question is, what is your favorite 80s or 90s movie, or both?
I'd say probably the Halloween series, man. Like Halloween 1 and 2. I freaking love those movies.
Are you a fan of 3 Season of the Witch?
Yeah, I wanted to ask that too.
I think I watched that one once.
Okay.
I love Season of the Witch.
Really?
If you just remove it from that.
Yeah.
I think maybe I should go back.
You should.
It's really good.
Because if you watched it when you were younger, you were probably just like, where's Michael Myers at? If you watch it now, you just like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about 90s?
90s, probably like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, like some goofy comedies like that.
I'm somewhat of an Adam Sandler guy myself.
Yeah, the early days. I remember.
The early days.
Like every night, just being goofy.
Did you like Hubie Halloween?
Which one?
Hubie Halloween. It came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that one.
You catch it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
throwbacks. It's got Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
And there, he's got a lot of classic characters that come in, and then he's got this thermos that it's like a utility belt thermos. This thing does anything that he needs it to do throughout the movie. It magically does. It's so funny.
You need a flashlight. Yeah. I mean, I'll say because I love Adam Sandler. But a lot of the movies have been hit or miss, especially like the 2000s movies. And since we're here, I know you said Happy Gilmore. If you had to give me top 3 Adam Sandler movies of all time, what would they be?
Probably Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, and then The Waterboy.
Hey, nice choices. Nice choices right there. All right, thank you. Because that's what I would.
For sure. Adam Sandler's my daughter's favorite actor as of now. That's her. That's her guy.
I would say Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, and Click, because I thought Click was the first Adam Sandler movie that made me cry. That was the first one. But Trav, go ahead and ask the final question.
Yeah, so you kind of gave a little bit of a spoiler away, but hey, at least now we know you're into horror. So, is there anything as a kid coming up that scared you, spooked you, stuck with you that you still think about to this day? Something creepy crawly. Maybe grandma had a weird doll that would scare you. Some tree shadows.
I remember as a kid, the thing that scared me the most was Pet Cemetery, when it was like the little demon child under the bed cutting the guy's Achilles. Man, I would be looking under my bed like there ain't no demon baby down there. And the movie Fire in the Sky was like,
nobody knows about this movie.
Dude,
it's so
that movie
good.
was when
based
I thought
on
I was
a true
kid,
story.
Like that freaked me out as a kid. I'd be looking at my window, looking under the bed, like
Well, you out in Boise, so I mean, for you that could happen.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Oh my god, yo! When you said Pet Cemetery, I hadn't seen the first one. My first Pet Cemetery was the second one, and I just always remember like when the stepdad came back to life, and when he started sleeping with the mom. Like when they got to that part of the movie, I left my friend's house because like they were just watching it like it was nothing. But yo,
like that's not cool. That's not cool, man.
I was in the 3rd grade when I watched that movie, and that movie gave me nightmares all the way until I was in middle school. Because I don't know, like I just had nightmares about it because I always feared that he was going to show up at my house and try to kill me. But I can watch the movie now, but back then I couldn't do it. So I totally understand. And then when I did finally watch the first Pet Cemetery, just like you, the baby, like it was scary. Now, all right, since we talk about Pet Cemetery, how did you feel about the remake? If you've seen it.
I didn't see it actually.
It's really good, man.
Watch it. Yeah, it's really good.
I got some good movies out of y'all. I appreciate it.
Hey, that's what we do here. We recommend stuff. And now we're here at the end of the interview. And Austin, thank you so much for joining us. You were awesome. And before we let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
It's AR Tyler 2 on Twitter and Instagram. I've been a little more active on Twitter lately just because all the voiceover people, that's like they're all over it. So like I've been hopped in. I usually don't post that much, but hit me up.
Okay, cool. And Trav, let everybody know where they can find you at.
That's right. You can follow me on the Instagram at ZK Audio. I'm on the Twitter at TRAVIOSZK, or I'm also on Letterboxd. I'm ranking my daily movie watches. Your boy watched Hugo last night. Scorsese classic for the children. That's what I like. Thanks. Where they finding podcast #1 hero.
Hey, you can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again, Austin, for joining us up here. Thank you, everybody, for watching this interview. Make sure you check out some more interviews we have here on the channel, along with reaction videos, reviews, podcasts, brand new episodes every Tuesday. The link is down below in the description. Like I say all the time, keep that pinky up. Stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure that you hit that like button and you subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content on our channel. Make sure you check out our podcast where we release new episodes every Tuesday, and the video of that episode is uploaded on Friday. And you can find new episodes of our podcast on all podcast platforms. Make sure you follow all the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, we have a Patreon. If you're feeling generous and would love to donate to us, it's at Leveling Up Banks. And huge shout out to our patrons. We really appreciate you and thank you for the support. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.